The skills required for shooting well on the high stand are hard to replicate in the off-season at the range. Sure, there are running targets and some unique ways to replicate the challenges of driven shooting, but the sexting and sizing of bores, the cycling of the rifle for follow-up shots, and so many intangibles become lost between the high stand and the range. Practice will only make you better, and Aimpoint has developed perhaps the ultimate tool for the task. GAIM, that's G-A-I-M, is a virtual reality look at all the dynamics of hunting the high stand.
The VR shooting system has come a very long way since we first tried it in Croatia a few years ago. I think it's become a training tool. And it's, for example, especially for new hunters, it's really interesting for them to be able to put in a situation where they can sort of understand what it means to hunt in a driven hunt stand. But also for more experienced hunters, you can go into trying to figure out how your line of aim is, how much lead you have to give an animal, at what distances, with what bullet speed, etc. I mean, it's really getting into deep waters in terms of shooting strategy. So I think from young ages to new hunters and also experienced hunters, it's becoming a serious tool. And on top of everything, it's amazing fun.
Fortunately, before this event, Aimpoint sent me the GAIM virtual reality hunting simulator. That was a great warm-up for what we were going to experience over here. It's VR 360. You can select the scenario that you want to engage with. Driven game, driven boar. You can select the number of pigs that are going to come through. And then it also limits you based on things like backdrop behind the game, so that to ensure that you're making safe shots. They confuse you by having dogs come out right after a pig, let's say. So it's great. It prepares you for the situations that you're most likely going to encounter on any of these driven hunts. Here in Spain, we're hunting a monteria, so it can be a 360-degree environment. There's a lot of movement. Dogs are coming in and out of the hunters. It's not like many of the other experiences where it's a very limited space. The beaters are pushing through an area kind of online, and the dogs are ahead of the beaters. In this case, it's animals, people moving throughout the hunters, and you've got to be very cautious.
And now, since a few years, they've developed a scenario called SimPro, which is basically a shooting range in the glasses. So you can set whatever you want to shoot at, if it's wild boars or deer. You can also do it with clays. And you can set the distance and the speed and the angle and how many targets you want to have coming. And then you can stand in there and you can shoot, let's say, 5 boars. And then you go into like the analytic part of it, and you can fast forward or go back, and you can see exactly the movement of a barrel. You can see the speed of your barrel, the speed of the target. And this way, you can take out all the mistakes you're making. Because if you, let's say you shoot in a shooting cinema, you will never see what you did with a barrel. And if you go and shoot at a running target at a shooting range, you also don't have all that information about what happened before the shot and at the shot. And here, you don't have to go to the range. You don't have to spend a lot of money on ammunition. You can stay at home and you can actually get practice done, because I think, you know, if you look at sport shooters, they will maybe shoot, the ones who are really serious about it, they will shoot between 10 and 30,000 shots a year, training for the matches. A hunter, I would say, an average hunter who trains a lot, maybe shoots 100 to 500 shots a year, yeah? But if you have a game at home, it only takes a minute starting it up, and then you can stand for 10 minutes or half an hour once a week, or if you're really into it, every day. And we have a lot of people, or GAIM has a lot of people now, who come back to them and say, because we bought GAIM and we started practicing at home, we were not confident enough taking shots on running game. But because we trained and trained and trained in GAIM, we now started doing it, and it's worked perfectly. So, I mean, it's really, of course, there's all the fun scenarios, which also you can go and analyze now, even in the scenarios where you get points and so on. Afterwards, if you want, you can also see exactly the same as you can in the SimPro. But in the SimPro, I mean, you take the gaming away and you're actually just in there trying to get better at shooting.
And those skill sets learned competing with friends in your living room hold a strong crossover when the chill in the air is real and the boars are on the move.
Eso es un macho. Muy bueno, ¿eh? Qué bien. ¿Has visto la boca? Sí, sí, sí.
Sound like 2 hits behind us. I think France is getting stuck in.